Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is Candelanice. I am your hostess with the mostest. This is Book It, y'all. I've been doing Book It for a couple of years, and I'm going to be doing some more Book It's because this is a place where books are discussed. This is a place for readers, audiobook listeners, right? Audiobook listeners and people who want to be like my channel, educated, elevated, and entertained. Many of you know that autobiographies are my favorite books. I read or listen to autobiographies all the time, sometimes over and over and over again. Some books, if you follow me on my channel, then you know there's some books that I will read over and over again because there's so many jewels and gems in those autobiographies. But I also like to elevate my mind, make me think differently, experience something through the pages of a novel. So I just love books. I'm a writer, I'm an author, but I am also an avid reader and an avid educator, and I like to be educated. I like the classroom, right? So it's exciting to read books because if you're a reader, you know that reading a book can take you somewhere and have you visualize something that's not even on the pages. And reading can take you so many places, right? So today I want to talk about a certain book. I want to talk about, and I'm going to make sure I put this book up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Wait a minute, let's see. I'm going to put it right up here so you see what book I am talking about. Give me 1 second. How y'all doing though? How are you peoples? And this book that I'm going to talk about today is an oldie but goodie. And for some reason, it has resurfaced and folks are reading it, including me. Another hint is this book, an insert from this book was featured on a couple of movies that I'm sure you have seen. And when I read the most popular insert from this book, you'll be like, oh, I know what book that is. So today I'm talking about A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. She's one of my favorite authors. It didn't say. She's one of my favorite authors. And let me put it up there. Okay. Because you know I can maybe not do couple things at once. Okay. So A Return to Love. She's one of my favorite authors because she's very insightful. She loves God. She talks about her experience with God. She's famous for the principle, A Return to Love. That's the book I'm talking about. Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles, which came out in 1992. It's a New York Times bestseller. It's still popular. The resurgence is unreal in 2024. I am reading it. And I must say, I'm so upset that I've never read the full book before. I've read inserts. I've read the most popular parts. I even have one of the most popular parts. This is so, you can see the thumbtacks in it. It stays on my board. It's laminated. That's how powerful this is. But I had never actually read the book. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. But you know what? It's never too late to remix your life, right? At any stage, age, or phase. So, Marianne Williamson is again a New York Times bestseller. She was launched into prominence by Oprah Winfrey, being a frequent guest on her daytime talk show and becoming known as her spiritual advisor. She's an author, she's a teacher, she's a politician, and she is an activist. Williamson even ran unsuccessfully as an independent for California's 33rd congressional district in the United States. There has even been talks of her being the president at some point. That would be amazing to see because of her compassion. And when you read somebody's words, you get to understand the way they think. This is not an autobiography. This is not a biography. This is a return to love coming from God first. It's so good. It's so many gems in this book. I've read it and then I'm reading it again right after I read it. I jotted down some notes. Now, really, I'm going to tell you like this. You need to get the book. You need to get the audio version. And the audio version, which I'm listening to now, she recites her own words and she reads it. And if you know me and have been listening to me talk about books on my channel, then you know that I love when an author reads their own words because they know when to put the emphasis on the words that have power to them when they were reading it. All right, so here are some of my notes. This book talks about acknowledging our patterns, messing up in love and relationships, is being, talking about being too hard on yourself, the power of miracles, inviting God into our lives. And everybody, she says, has a moment where they say, God, help me. A certain amount of desperation is usually necessary before we are ready for God. When she said that, and this book is so good and it's not preachy. Is so authentic because I think a lot of the feelings and a lot of the things outside of her own journey, that's why she wrote this book, A Return to Love, but it's very relatable. A lot of people can relate to some of the conversations that she talks about in this. For instance, again, I loved when she said a certain amount of desperation is usually necessary before we're ready for God. And some people, they got to get everything out. They got to hit rock bottom before they call on the Lord, right? And when she said this, I almost hit the floor. A nervous breakdown. Breakdowns can be highly underrated methods of spiritual transformation. They get your attention. As a life coach, right? When I heard that, it was like emoji, mind blown. Nervous breakdowns. Breakdowns can be highly underrated methods of spiritual transformation because some people got to be sick and tired, or they've done all that they could do naturally, but then they have to call on God. And I remember when I first heard this book, and I have this that I've had for years, up posted so I can read it. I didn't know when she was talking about a return to love and miracles. I wasn't sure what she was talking about. And then I started reading. I was like, oh, I remember when she was on Oprah. I remember when she was, talking about this. And I'm a reader and I have no idea why I didn't, but we ain't gonna talk about the past no more because I done read it and I'm on the second time and listening now to the audio. So listen to this. I literally wrote this down. The breakdowns can be highly underrated methods of spiritual transformation. They get your attention. They humble you and you realize by yourself you are nothing. She says, I was profoundly humbled. Until this happens, you keep trying your old tricks, the ones that never did work. But you keep thinking they might work this time. Once you've had enough and you can't do it anymore, you consider the possibilities that there might be a better way. That's when your head cracks open and God comes in. This isn't bad news, it's good news. Until your knees hit the floor, you're just playing at life. And on some level, you're scared because you know you just playing, right? The moment of surrender, when life really begins, it's better to endure one sharp pain, however sharp the pain is, and however long and dull the ache is. Unconsciously, that lasts for the rest of your life. So she says it's better to endure one sharp pain, however sharp it may be, however long, than a dull ache of unconsciousness that lasts for the rest of your life. I want you to pause on that. I'm not sure if you heard what I said and really got that. So do the playback, read the book, and digest that. That's so powerful. Like, no matter how sharp the pain is of hurt, you would rather experience that than the dull ache of unconsciousness that lasts for the rest of your life. How ironic, she says, you spend your life with the notion that someone out there is smarter than you, and then all of a sudden you are relieved to know it's true. All of a sudden you're not too proud to ask. That's what it means to surrender to God, right? She talks about overwhelming sadness in the book. The change we're looking for, the change that we're looking for is always in our own head. And all we have to do is change our perception. Once we change our perception of things, that's when people begin to change and transform. As a life coach, I always talk about perception. That's one of my favorite words because it can go this way or this way. And how you look at things and how you see things can change just by your perception changing. So she also says, depending on God is depending on love. One, he's the love within us. Two, whether we follow him and think with love is up to us. Three, when we choose to love one with God, uh, life is wonderfully laid out. When we turn away from God in love, that's when the pain sets in. Surrender to God is surrendering to love. We use our mind to co-create with God. The problem with this world, she says, is that we have strayed from his and wandered away from his love, from him and wandered away from his love. The opposite of love is fear, and love casts out fear. When she said that, it's so simplistic and so yet deep at the same time. The opposite of love is fear, and then love casts out fear. So it's almost like, well, how can I have, you tell me I need experience at this job, but how can I have experience when I don't have a job? That's the same thing. How can I love when I'm fearful? But casting out fear is love. And a lot of people say, I'm afraid to love, or I'm fearful to love, or I just can't love, or I don't love. But having more love and demonstrating love, that fear will go away. Man, I mean, I can't even write all the gems. That's why I recommend you read this book or listen to the audio. She says, the perfect isn't something you need to create because God already created it. So being perfect or having this perfect thing, you can't, God already created that. She said, the perfect you is the love within you. Your job is to allow God's power to remove the fearful thinking which surrounds your perfect self. There's so many gems in this book. Egos is a gravitating force field built of eons of fearful thinking. A mental mistake. Oh, thinking about mental mistakes. God is a force of love that corrects every mistake it occurs. She talks about faith. She talks about love. She talks about surrendering, right? And I'm going to read this passage. So if you don't know who Marianne Williamson is now, and you don't know this book, A Return to Love. A Return to Love is the book. The entire title is Reflections on Principles of of A Course in Miracles, which came out in 1992. So if I read this, you're going to be like, I know who Marianne Williamson is. I know the book, A Return to Love. It's been said on Aquila and the Bee. It's been said in the movie Coach Carter. I keep it with me right here. It's laminated. Let me read it so you know what I'm talking about. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. I'm going to read that again for the folks in the back. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Man, A Return to Love. Y'all need to, and again, this show is for my readers, for my audio book listeners. This channel is about education, elevation, and entertainment. So you're going to get a little bit of all three. I'm an avid reader. I'm an avid healer and, advocate for healing and growing and being better and also having fun, being entertained. So I like all kinds of books. I told y'all autobiographies are my favorite, but how can I not read something that's going to enlighten me and elevate me as a woman and as a life coach and as a lover of God? You know what I'm saying? So this is Book It. Talking about Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love, Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. It came out in 1992. Some of y'all might have been born. Some of y'all may have not been. And now it's a resurgence. If you go to your audio books, it's probably on back order. It's probably people are waiting in line to reread this. I think we're in a space and time where we want more God, we want more direction, we want to strengthen our minds and the way we think. So a lot of young folks are reading this now. Your girl, I'm reading it now twice, back to back. That's how good it is. There's so many gems. I couldn't even hardly take notes because it was taken away from me listening. I was trying to listen the second time around and then take notes and then trying to do it, and then you want to highlight, you just want to really acknowledge some of the powerful parts. But truth be told, this whole book is powerful. It's a whole powerful part. It's a whole highlight. So if you get your highlighter, you'd be like the little kids, just highlighting everything. All right, y'all. This is Book It, Kendall and East. Make sure you read something. Challenge yourself. How many books will you read or listen to this year? Last year, I was I think at 21, and that was a low number for me. So challenge yourself. It's January, or whether you're watching the playback, whatever month you decide to watch this or you catch this or it comes across your feed, start then and challenge yourself to the end of the year to elevate your mind or entertain your spirit and read a book. Read a book. Pick up a book, audio, and tell me what you think. If you've read this book or listened to the audio of this book, let me know in the comments what you think about this book. I'm reading like 3 more books in a row right now, so I'll be back at Book It to let you know what books I'm reading. But I will tell you this, I'm reading Bobby Brown's book again. I went to the book signing. I hosted a book signing for his book at Howard University. I listened to his audio. Bobby is reading it. I read the actual pages of the book, and now I'm listening to the audio again because Bobby is reading his story. That's one of the books that I'm reading right now. And I also, I have books lined up. I was reading also The Millionaire Next Door. I saw somebody talking about that on TikTok, so I wanted to see what was up with that. So I started reading that. And then also the How to Thrive When the World Overwhelms You, The Highly Sensitive Person. That was recommended to me too as well. So I got some stuff locked and loaded. Let me know if you like to read. What's the last book you read? What you're reading now? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you don't subscribe already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you feel compelled to give, it's 3 dots. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I also have memberships on my YouTube channel. So check them out because I'll talk about different things that I won't talk about for the masses to see. Because of course, if you have a membership, I'm gonna make sure that's super special, and I'll have things for you. And I think they're only like $1.99, or you have to go look because I'm still trying to figure this thing out as far as the subscriptions and the gifts and all of that. All right, y'all. I want you to be healthy, whole, and well. It's important to be all 3. And to elevate your mind, y'all, books can take you places that maybe you'll never go. So pick up a book and read it. God bless y'all. Peace.